Hello and welcome to Scriptorium episode 7. Today we're going to be talking about the inner light and morality. The inner light is basically that small moral flame that burns within all of us. It keeps us from getting lost even when we go on the wrong path. Even when the world kind of feels like it's against us. It's that one thing that we can always count on. And it's a universal concept. I think it crosses ideologies, it crosses religions, and it's what links us all, right? So now that our inner light is not immutable, it is always there, but it can change as we change. It can grow, it can diminish, or it can totally change and become inverted. And it does that based on what we expose ourselves to, how we approach life, things that we by our own actions, by who we associate with. It's an interesting concept. Of course, I'm throwing it out as a concept. I'm sure there's other names for it. It's not quite the conscience. It's a conscience. It's not a moral compass. I'm viewing it as something totally different. Now, our moral light informs our morality. Our inner light informs our morality. Morality, of course, can also change. Morality is more of a reflection of our inner light. And of course, I'm using this as a descriptive term. Like I said, it could have multiple interpretations. And morality, of course, as it follows the trend of your inner light, can be totally inverted. It can be very strong or very weak, depending on how you treat it and how you nurture it. Let's take an example, right? So one of my characters, his name is Arlen Varys. He's what's known as an anointed. From his very birth, he had a very strong inner light and was actually able to heal his mother, who was going to die from during childbirth. Very powerful way to start, and that's the start of his life. So you can imagine where it goes from there. And by the end of the story, he has a lot to mull over. He has a lot to think about, and it's that inner light that leads him right back to to the right decision. In his case, the right decision. And the reason I like this story, when I wrote it, I liked it because it was very inspirational. It's like, even though you're going through tribulations, even though you can see the challenges ahead, do you make the right decision? Do you embrace your destiny? Do you embrace your future? Or do you just turn away from it because of the tribulations you're going to be facing? It's essentially fortitude. It's a call to fortitude. Conversely, I also work with characters that are not grounded. Their moral light, their inner light, is it changes a lot. It goes with whatever. It's not quite inverted. It's just weak. So they kind of just do whatever suits them. They have more of a mercenary politician type personality, and that's not necessarily wrong in the overall moral sense. It's just not grounded, solid, and doesn't lead towards a happy, fulfilling life. And you can see it in these characters. There's a lot of insecurity and ambivalence towards life in the future. So they have a different effect on the plot. So your characters with a strong inner light tend to be more solid building blocks of stories. And I use that. That's something I employ very, very much in my little universe I'm building. So characters, even they have foibles, they have problems, but their inner light guides them and it keeps them from falling into traps and it prevents them from falling into the darkness, essentially. The darkness being a metaphorical darkness, not physical darkness. So the reason I want to talk about this is it's an important aspect to character development. It's nice to look at your character's physical attributes, their personality personality-based attributes, even the tropes that they embody. But there's a different. If you look at the deeper sub-levels of your characters, you can get much more character development. You can make them very relatable. You can make them very interesting, and that's kind of one of the things I go for with when I write a character. They're not a gimmick. A character can be something very inspiring. They can be a totem. They can do quite a lot, and that's just kind of something I want to talk about. I don't know how fellow writers build their characters, or if they take into consideration the reasons characters make decisions that they do as they go along their journey. But I do find that moral considerations are actually a huge factor. And pretty much if you think about it, a hero with no morals isn't a hero. A hero is just a set piece if they don't have anything going on underneath the veneer. That's kind of what they are at their core. And that's pretty much it on that. Thank you for checking my podcast, and hope you enjoyed it. So I'd like to mention a few people. The first of which is Sharon Perkins. She's an author. She has a couple of books out. One of which is the RFID Truancy Solution. It's a very interesting short story. It's good. I think you'll like it. The second book that she has is an anthology called Tales of a Sketchy Mind. Haven't quite gotten to that one yet, but so far I love her style. It's going to be good. I'd also like to mention my friend Alfred Perez. He's a cartoonist and actually a comic book author / he does a lot of stuff. You can check his stuff out at under the Toonist at Patreon, or you can also check his stuff out at moderniconoclast.com. I do post his webcomics up there, Office Whatever in particular. So this is a pretty good. It's a funny comic. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.